See, welcome. It's been a few hours since Spain was crowned world champion for the second time in its history, defeating Argentina in your face and with Leo Messi crying in his send off. I mean, what can I say? It's like a dream come true. I think I must still be dreaming because if there's a master plan to design such a perfect movie, we've seen it, it happened. Not for everyone, of course. I'm talking about my case and that of many others. The match reaction video is already up with all the emotion running high. And what we're going to talk about here, by the way, is a series of videos of all these loudmouths, these digital amoebas, and some journalists belittling Spain from day one. But honestly, I was left speechless. And what I did was, instead of responding right at that moment, although it's true that in some videos I couldn't resist and I replied, what I did was save them to make a video later. I was so confident that Spain was going to win the World Cup that I knew this video was coming. Not this one specifically. It will be the next one or one of the following with that compilation, the definitive video of all these people saying all kinds of nonsense. Well, in this one, we're going to focus on what happened afterward, when the referee blows the final whistle and the Spanish players go to celebrate Spain's second World Cup. An incredible joy, the kind I remember from South Africa. Just think about how much the Dutch fouled that day in South Africa. I remember Casillas crying, Iniesta with his arms like this, jumping and hugging, Puyol with Casillas, and so on. I don't remember anything else, just the Dutch frustrated on the ground. Robin Snyder, they had wasted their national team's third final in history. And look, the Dutch had every reason to be frustrated. I mean, with all the fouls they committed, right? Well, yeah, but of course, not in that one, nor in any other in the history of the World Cups do I remember one where the whole team couldn't celebrate as champions, because it turns out the others start going after the winners. There are a lot of images going around out there, and we're going to see them all because I have the whole story. It took me some time to make this video because I've been gathering everything. Some say Paredes is going after Eric Garcia because the other guy had started it first, but that's not true. This is the story. It's unbelievable. All the Spanish footballers run together to celebrate towards the area near Unai's box, right? And look what happens here. This clumsy, useless Nahuel Molina, who is only good enough to play for Atletico de Madrid, and even their own fans think he's terrible, right? He goes and does this to Rodri. Rodri was going to celebrate. Hey, one thing, I don't know what Rodri said, but surely Rodri wouldn't just walk by and call him a son of a bitch. That's not it. But in these cases, you celebrate in their face. You celebrate in their face. Do Argentinians know how to celebrate in your face? Damn right, they know how to celebrate in your face. I mean, they're actually famous for that very reason. Exactly for that reason. Do you remember this? Look, here is Paredes, here is the thug Otamendi, and here are several of these guys, right? Okay? That day, by the way, the only one who didn't look at them, or at least in the photo, was Messi. You have to see what Messi tried to do to Coco Corella. It's unbelievable. That's what he's aiming for. Let's go right away because, wow, what a grand finale he gave to his little career. Oh my goodness, here's the example for the kids. Messi. Well, in your face, Cuti Romero the other day, possessed by a demon, did this to Pickford, but this is just a snapshot. Remember, I showed you the video. He did this to him several times, and then to the English defenders who were there, right in their faces too. Valentin Barco did this too. Remember what he did with the English footballers, not when Argentina beat England, but when they scored maybe the equalizer or Lautaro's winner. He walked right in front of them. And Belen, I'd love to see what he or they would say. Well, that's it. These are the best at celebrating right in other people's faces. But come on, it's not just celebrating in their faces, it's also saying things to them. I mean, it's not just walking past them. Let's see what Rodri does. No, it's about telling them things, right? Well, these guys, of course, so cocky, so brave, so arrogant about everything, saying they control the other kind of football and all that, because now they're saying that Spain played the other kind of football before the match, putting pressure on the referees. But damn, weren't you Argentinians supposed to be the best at playing the other kind of football? Weren't you the best? Well, here you go. In football, 20 shots to your zero. I mean, a spectacular thrashing. I mean, the most one sided final I've ever seen in my life, unfortunately, with just one goal, because Spain should have won 3 or 4 to 0. It was an even bigger thrashing than Spain 4, Italy 0 in the 2012 Euro Cup, a much bigger thrashing. Well, and in the other kind of football, as they call it too, because now we're going to see some footage of Otamendi talking to Rodri. You talked earlier. Are you upset? I mean, you guys talk. Besides, how are you going to talk if you've been favored this whole World Cup and the previous one? I mean, this is crazy. Laporte told the whole truth. We said it here the other day in a video. Well, that there were strange situations where the referee's decisions always went Argentina's way. Always. And certain actions were allowed with very specific players, hard tackles that weren't punished with yellow cards. Therefore, the referee's threshold was very high and they kept fouling. This has happened in this World Cup. But anyway, none of that is being held against him. The Argentinians hold it against the Spanish footballers when the match ends. And here is when Rodri, look, Nahuel Molina is waiting for him. Boom, he punches him in the chest. Damn, Rodri was going to celebrate. He turns around and asks him, what's going on? He turns around and gets into it with Nahuel Molina. Um, they repeat it here again. Wait, because now I have the image. That's the hit. It's very clear. I hope that FIFA, besides the Malvinas issue, I hope, well, let's see. I just can't imagine anything other than a harsh sanction for these people. Nahuel Molina, now we're going to see Paredes. And of course, Raton Ayala, who was the footballer, great defender, by the way, back in his day for Valencia and the Argentine national team, who punches Dani Olmo in the face. It's unbelievable. And we see how Rodri turns around. Okay, there's not much more to see here. That's why here we're going to see it better, bigger, from behind one of the goals. I mean, well, not bigger, but wider. So you see the Spanish footballers just wanted to celebrate. Here we're going to see when Rodri turns like we saw before. And in the center of the field, Borja Iglesias and Eric Garcia are hugging. And Eric Garcia spots Nahuel. With Rodri, he goes after him. So much is happening that I have to stop it. He goes after him, but to separate them and say, hey, what the hell are you doing? He didn't see the hit or the punch to Rodri, or they would have been even angrier. He just steps in to separate him and says, stop it, you've lost. That's it. Leandro Paredes comes from behind and pushes him and kicks him from behind. I mean, you have to be a coward to push and kick a guy who's got his back turned, and especially someone like Leandro Paredes. It's absolutely despicable that when he came onto the field, he was going to kick people and had to be sent off. And yet they go and say that Spain was favored in today's match because what happened with Enzo wasn't a red card. It's unbelievable. And about Cucurella, now we see what happened between Cucurella and Messi. That's why he covers his mouth. When you see the image, the way Cucurella moves, you think he covers his mouth to talk. But what the hell are you talking about? Here, the childish behavior is Messi's. Well, here we are. Then he kicks him. Eric Garcia gets up. He could have gotten up. He could have punched him right there. Obviously, he didn't do it. The referee and the linesman are right there, but he still grabs him by the neck and pushes him. It's unbelievable. Scaloni steps in to separate them, but Leandro Paredes is far away. I know the image is a little far away. Guys, I can't zoom in. But Leandro Paredes is far away from... Wait, I can still zoom in this way. There we go. Wait a moment. All right, I'm sorry. Now, okay. Far from realizing what he was doing, since they've already separated Eric and he doesn't see another Spaniard to hit. Gabby comes up from behind. He grabs him. Gabby is with Almada. He grabs Gabby and look, right there, hits him in the face, but not a punch since Gabby is on the ground. So he can't really get his arm in position to throw a punch. But he touches his face. They have to separate him. Well, that's when things get messy, okay? At the same time, Dani Olmo, who was over there hugging Nico Williams, notices this, gets up a bit, and then this guy, this Ayala, shows up. The former Valencia and Argentina national team player. From the staff, Dani Olmo is saying, well, he's there kind of separating them, right? And Dani Olmo is saying, what the hell? And then this Ayala guy, instead of separating them, we're going to see it now. He punches him. I think it's here. Found it. Look. He punches him in the face. I mean, a guy from the Argentina staff, I swear, really. I mean, these guys need to get some serious sanctions, but exemplary ones. I'm not sure if FIFA will do it, since they have something strange with the AFA that we'll likely learn about in a few years. You tell me, right? Well, by the way, in this video too, look, this is what Molina does to him. I mean, Rodri will call him out, like, what are you doing? But instead of apologizing for punching him in the chest, we just go back to the start of it all. Check it out. There are lots of videos, some close up and others showing the whole stadium. Well, that's when all the images recorded on I don't know how many thousands of phones are starting to come out and spread, right? And then, look, I mean, he even kicks him. He says something to him, gets in his face, and kicks him. Unbelievable. Rodri still walks away, partly because Eric Garcia appears, right? I think the whole sequence is clear. I think the whole sequence is pretty clear. I don't know if I'm missing anything else here. It's just all crazy, but really, truly crazy. Here, well, we already had these images. They were a little closer. Well, that's it. Well, that's that. It's incredible, man. It's incredible. But wait, really? That's not all. That's not everything. That's not all. You must have seen it. Argentina celebrates. Well, celebrates. No. Today, yesterday, they had nothing to celebrate. Argentina. Argentina. This is the graphic from the match. Spain is afraid. Spain is afraid. Damn, good thing they were afraid, because if not, they would have crushed them, right? It's just that everything has been really absolutely pathetic. Spain is about to lift the cup because Trump and Infantino were still there, right? And look at the Argentinians, man. They have to be watching. They have to stay. They're forced to stay, of course. Otherwise, they would have left. But them, instead of looking at the winner, watching them lift the cup, and then going to your fans, they're turning their backs. But what kind of madness is this? What kind of madness is this? Well, it's really, oh, I don't have the Cucurella clip here. Wow, I don't have the Cucurella clip here. Let's see if it's around. Wait, no, nothing. They've removed it. The video of Cucurella with Messi is gone. I guess you saw it, right? When Cucurella doesn't cover his mouth to talk, he puts 2 or 3 fingers to his lips and quickly moves them away. There's not even time to say a single syllable. And then Messi comes over and starts tattling like the class snitch to the teacher. How pathetic, man. How pathetic. I want to tell you some things. Look, for example, when Nico Williams got injured, I don't usually describe players. I never do. I felt sorry for Nico Williams during the match against Uruguay when he said it was one of the worst days of his life and the year had been awful. I told him he'd score in this World Cup, and I wasn't wrong. He scored a goal that should have counted. Look, in an unbelievable decision in favor of Argentina, a goal that should have been given, and they didn't give it to him. And, well, as if that weren't enough, he gave the assist to Ferran Torres, and I knew that Nico Williams was going to do something in this World Cup, the kid, right? Well, that's it. Of course, all kinds of memes are going around about the famous drubbing. Here's Enzo Fernandez with 2 yellow cards. This is what I was mentioning. What Cucurella does here is, I insist, with 2 or 3 fingers on his lips, and if you remember the video, he puts them on and takes them off. As I said, there's not even time to say a single syllable there. Not at all. That's why, obviously, it wasn't reviewed and nobody paid any attention. But look at how Messi ended up, how Messi ended up in his last World Cup match. Oh my God, oh my God. The Argentine players left after the match without giving a single statement to the press. The ones from the neighborhood, the ones from humble beginnings, the ones who are all about the people, their own people, all of them, every single one. Not a single one was missing. All of them there, everyone with their mate. All those who come from humble beginnings, the ones from the neighborhood, the ones who used to go, all of them, nothing. Not a single explanation to the press, which in the end is giving an explanation to his people, right? Well, nothing. Quite an example. Very good, very good. They acted very cocky, taking cheap shots after the match ended, turning their backs on the champion, and then not a single explanation after the game. Look, there are a lot of Argentinians, really, I know. Yesterday I was watching the match with some Argentinians I care about a lot. Very good people, wonderful people, my friends, my friends. This, of course, I never want to generalize. You know me, I think it's unfair since there are great people here too. But then, damn, then they wonder why certain things happen. Why certain things happen. And why For example, this journalist guy, the one who says, I'm going to make a video, I insist, with all of them, who says that Spain is very small and that it's light years behind Argentina and all that. Well, you only beat us by one World Cup now. You have three, we have two. And wait, at the rate we're going, maybe we'll overtake you soon. But that'll be a later video, like I said. But look, I'm going to use this as an example of what really pisses me off. Because the newspaper Olé is showing images of Spanish fans leaving the stadium after they'd already celebrated like crazy, when people are already leaving. They all leave in single file, quietly and calmly, and they're being mocked by the newspaper Olé. Like, look, this is how the Spanish celebrate. Well, if one of those YouTubers does it, one of those digital amoebas who have made a fool of themselves throughout the whole World Cup, fine. But the newspaper Olé, that's really unfair, isn't it? Because that's what it is, recording a piece of reality and saying, this is how it is. This is a lie and manipulation. It wasn't like that. The Spanish people at the stadium celebrated enthusiastically, just like the people in the squares and streets of Spain. They celebrated like crazy, like crazy. You had to see Colón, the Plaza del Pilar in Zaragoza, and so on and so on and so on. And then the typical idiot comes along and says, look at how they celebrate here. Look at how the Spaniards celebrate here. Of course, a picture taken at 5 a.m.
Friends, here we see the celebrations in Spain. World champions. There they go. The celebrations are incredible. The city is going wild.
What an idiot he is, seriously. I mean, it's so unfair. But of course you say, no, this is nothing. It's just some random person saying it. 16,000 likes. I mean, that's why you have to respond to these people. You need to say, as I mentioned, that people went home after celebrating and didn't stay to loot stores or kill people. And that's what happens in a civilized country when it welcomes you and many of your compatriots, like, for example, your neighbors who are right here next to you wearing the Argentina jersey. And that's great. Spain welcomes everyone. And that's how they're going to keep acting, because then they say, why do they hate us? Or why do these things happen to us? Not to everyone, of course. And surely generalizing is very unfair. But many of you don't do much to turn this situation around. You don't learn and keep doing the same thing thinking you're special, but no one is. Absolutely nobody. It really reminds me of Atlético's fans. It's like we're nobody. Here, every fan base has the right to celebrate however they want. And of course, everyone supports their team and their national team like they should, not just Argentinians and not just Atlético fans. Give me a break. Anyway, honestly, it's just, but yeah, they're really screwed. I get them. Stay strong. They thought this was going to be different. It hasn't been, but there's a reason. Purely related to soccer. Purely related to soccer. I mean, this chart and these statistics. I wish you all the best. Give it a like if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel. Please comment and share. That's it. See you next time. Hype up the video. It really supports the channel. And have a great Monday, world champions. Those of you who are, of course. Bye.